Be me, 26, renter of the right half of a duplex on a quiet street. Pay extra every month for the unit with the bigger backyard, not for parties, for tomatoes. I have a system, raised beds, labeled markers, a drip hose I installed myself. Heirloom seedlings I started indoors in February under a grow light like a lunatic. Brandywines, Cherokee purples. Little green soldiers I check on twice a day. The left half of the duplex has been empty for 2 months. It was perfect. Then the moving truck shows up on a Tuesday. I watch from behind my blinds like a paranoid raccoon. A woman, maybe late 20s, hauling boxes labeled in marker. Flour, pans, do not stack. And a small child orbiting her legs like a tiny chaotic moon. I tell myself, it's fine. There's an invisible line down the middle of the yard. Everyone respects the invisible line. This is a known law of duplex living. 3 days later, I'm out back tying up a tomato cage. Quiet morning, coffee on the step, birds doing their thing. And then, I hear it. The screen door on the left side bangs open. A blur of pigtails and light-up sneakers comes barreling across the grass. The kid is shrieking something about a dragon. She is not looking where the dragon is going. I see the trajectory before my brain accepts it. Hey, careful of the... Too late. 2 tiny shoes stomped directly into bed number 1, right onto my Cherokee purples. Crunch, squish. A wet little snap I will hear in my dreams. She keeps running, doesn't even notice. I'm frozen, holding a roll of garden twine, doing math on dead seedlings. 8 weeks of growing, gone in under a second. My ears are doing that hot ringing thing. I'm building the speech in my head, polite but firm, boundaries, the line. Then the screen door bangs again. The mom comes out at a dead sprint. She is covered in flour, like dusted. Hair, cheek, one whole forearm. Grace, no, that's not ours. She scoops the kid mid-run like a running back. The kid keeps swinging her plastic sword at the imaginary dragon. Mom finally sees the bed, sees my face, sees the little flattened crater where my plants used to be, and her whole expression just collapses. Oh no. Oh my God. Were those... I'm so sorry. She's bouncing the squirming kid on her hip, talking too fast. I'll pay for them, whatever they were. I'm new, She gets out the door so fast. I open my mouth to deliver the speech. Nothing comes out. Because she's got flour on her eyebrow, and she looks like she hasn't slept since the moving truck, and the kid is now staring at me, unbothered, picking her nose. It's fine, I hear myself say. It is not fine. They're just plants. Accidents happen. Who said that? Not me. A pod person wearing my body. She apologizes about 4 more times while backing toward her door. I nod like a malfunctioning robot and retreat to my kitchen. Close the sliding glass, clean counters, quiet, safe. I stand there gripping the cold edge of the counter, recalibrating. Then something thumps the glass. I look down. The kid has her entire face mashed against my patio door, cheek smooshed flat, one eye huge, breathing fog onto the glass like a tiny gremlin. Completely at peace, the architect of my destruction. I just lost 3 tomato plants and any hope of a quiet summer, and I have a feeling that fence I keep imagining in the yard isn't going to save me. Saturday morning, I have a plan. I spent Thursday night lying awake doing threat assessment. The kid is a heat-seeking missile. You cannot reason with a missile. You can only redirect it. So, I'm at the hardware store before it opens. Buy 3 cheap fence panels, a bag of generic potting soil, and a set of neon plastic shovels shaped like dinosaurs. The cashier looks at me. A grown man buying dinosaur shovels. I do not explain myself. Back home, I pick the far corner of the yard, the dead corner, bad sun, near the AC unit, where nothing grows anyway. I sink the little fence into the dirt, dump the soil, stick the dinosaur shovels in like flags on the moon. Step back and admire it, a containment zone, a decoy. I have built a tiny prison and disguised it as a gift. I am barely back at my real beds when the screen door bangs. I tense up, brace for impact. But she stops. The kid. Grace. She has spotted the dirt patch. Her whole body locks up like she's seen treasure. Is that mine? I clear my throat. If you want it. It's for digging. She does not say thank you. She does not say anything. She drops to her knees in the soil and gets to work. And then she just stays there. For 2 hours. I keep waiting for the rampage. It doesn't come. She's running a full-scale earthworm relocation program, narrating to each worm about where its new house is. I tie up my brandywines in peace for the first time all week. I keep glancing over, still digging, still muttering. A tiny content gremlin. Around noon, the screen door opens again. The mom steps onto the shared patio. She's holding a plate, and she's staring at her kid like she's witnessing a miracle. She's been quiet for 2 hours, she says. I thought she'd escaped. I checked twice. She's rehoming my worms. She's what? It's a whole operation. They have addresses. That gets a laugh out of her, a real one, tired around the edges. She holds the plate over the low divider, lemon bars, still warm. Peace offering for the tomato thing, and, apparently, for the worm thing. I'm Dana, by the way. I bake, freelance, or I'm trying to. I take one, mostly to be polite, then I actually eat it, and I have to physically stop my face from reacting. This thing is unreasonable, tart, buttery. The crust does something I don't understand. I have eaten a lot of mediocre lemon bars in my life. This is not one of them. This is really good, I say, like an idiot, mouth full. You sound surprised. I am, deeply. She grins. So, here's where I made my mistake. I offered a deal. The corner stays. She gets a free babysitting zone for the kid. In return, I get her experiments, the rejects, the off-cuts. A Tupperware treaty, she calls it. We shake on it over the divider. Her hand has flour on it. Of course it does. I go back inside with a plate of lemon bars and a fenced corner full of relocated worms. I tell myself, this changes nothing. I have negotiated peace. I have protected the perimeter. That's all this is. Strategic. I eat a second lemon bar standing at the counter, then a third. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. The treaty holds. That's the part that surprises me. A month goes by and the system actually works. Sort of. The kid has her corner, I have my beds. The line in the yard is back mostly. Except the line has become a suggestion now, not a law. Grace crosses it about 9 times a day. Not to destroy, to report. She finds a rock and has to show me the rock. Look, it's gray. It is. It has a spot. It does. She nods, satisfied, and goes back to her dirt. I have become the official rock inspector of the duplex. It's a real job now, no pay. Meanwhile, Dana works the divider like a drive-through window. Most evenings, she leans over the low patio wall holding a container. Scones one day, muffins the next. These weird little cardamom cookies that ruined regular cookies for me forever. Tester batch, she says. Tell me if the crumb is weird. I do not know what crumb means. I eat them anyway and lie that I have opinions. The thing is, my side of the duplex is changing, slowly, quietly, like a tide coming in. I keep finding Tupperware I need to return. A stack of it by my sink now. Mismatched lids. A dinosaur shovel showed up on my welcome mat and just lives there. I haven't moved it. I don't know why I haven't moved it. There's chalk on my half of the driveway. Flowers, supposedly. They have too many petals and several have teeth. I asked Grace about the teeth once. They bite bugs, she said, like I was slow. The old me would have hosed it off. The old me alphabetized his spice rack. The old me did not have a kid's drawing of a carnivorous tulip on his concrete. This is fine. I keep telling myself, this is fine. Then comes Friday. I'm at the divider, holding a box she just handed me. Cake scraps, trimmed edges from something, ugly, collapsed in the middle, smells incredible. And Dana doesn't leave. Usually it's a handoff and a wave. 2 minutes, tops. But tonight she leans on the wall and just starts venting. So, the wedding cake, the 4-tier. The one you've been stressing about all week. It fell, like, structurally. The whole second tier slid off. During delivery? In my kitchen, while I was looking at it. She drags a hand down her face, leaving flour on her chin. I rebuilt it. It's fine now. But I cried into a piping bag. I'm standing there holding the wreckage of that exact cake. So this is the body, I say. She snorts. That's the body. Eat the evidence. I take a piece. It's the best thing I've had all week. I don't tell her that. I just nod, very serious. Crumb's good, I say. She lights up. You don't even know what that means. I absolutely do not. She laughs, and it goes on a beat too long, and neither of us moves to leave. The streetlight kicks on. The kid is yelling at a worm somewhere. And I notice something I don't love noticing. I've been listening for that screen door all day, waiting for it, hoping for it. The complaints, the flour, the collapsed cakes. I look forward to her disasters now. That's the part that gets me, standing there in the dark with a box of ruined cake. A month ago, a kid stomped my plants and I wanted a fence in silence. Now I'm calculating how to make her stay at the wall longer. I go back inside, set the cake on the counter, eat a piece standing up, then another. The crack in the routine isn't a crack anymore. It's a door I left open on purpose. And I'm starting to wonder what happens when she finally walks through it. Midnight. I'm asleep, or close to it. Then someone is hitting my side door like they owe it money, fast, frantic knuckles. Not a polite knock. I'm up before I'm awake, heart going stupid. Outside, the storm has the whole street rattling, rain coming sideways, thunder you feel in your teeth. I yank the door open, Dana, soaked through, hair plastered to her face, t-shirt clinging. My tent, she gasps. The pop-up. It's coming down on the racks. I don't ask questions. My inventory's under it, for the morning gig. Please. Boots, I say. 2 seconds. I jam bare feet into garden boots. No socks. Grab nothing else. We sprint across the shared patio into the dark. The rain hits like a slap. Her pop-up canopy is doing the worst possible thing. One leg buckled, the whole canvas sagging, filling with water like a sail. Underneath it, cooling racks, trays, rows of something stacked and wrapped. The whole structure is one gust from folding onto all of it. Grab that corner, she yells over the thunder. I grab. The frame fights me. Cold water dumps off the canvas straight down my collar. Lovely. We wrestle it like it's alive. She pushes a pole up, I haul the sagging side, and a sheet of rainwater sloshes off into the grass. Racks first, I shout. Forget the tent. We start hauling trays. They're heavier than they look. Sheet pans loaded with wrapped pastry. I take 2 at a time, arms out like a waiter in a hurricane, through her door, into the kitchen, set them down, turn around, go back. Dana's right behind me, slipping on the wet tile, swearing under her breath. The kid's door is shut, sound asleep somehow. Kids are unreal, 8, 9 trips, maybe more. I lose count. By the end, the tent finally gives up and collapses flat into the mud. We let it. We stand in her kitchen, both of us dripping onto the floor, breathing hard, trays everywhere, flour and rainwater making paste underfoot. She looks at the rescued stacks, then at me, then laughs. It's a wrecked, relieved kind of laugh. You came out in boots and boxers, she says. I look down. I did. It was an emergency, I say with all the dignity I have left. She throws me a dish towel from the oven handle. I scrub at my face. It does nothing. I'm soaked to the bone. She fills the kettle. Chamomile, she says. I can't do caffeine after a near-death tent experience. The kettle ticks. The storm keeps going outside, softer now. We end up on the kitchen floor, backs against the cabinets, trays of saved pastry around us like survivors. 2 mugs between us, steam curling up. Neither of us says much, which is new. Usually there's the kid or the divider or a handoff to hide behind. Right now, there's none of that. Just her, knees pulled up, hair dripping, watching the rain run down the window. She glances over. I'm already looking. We both hold it a second too long. Her eyes drop to her mug. Mine drop to the floor. The quiet gets thick, the kind you can hear. I become very aware that I am sitting on a stranger's kitchen floor at 1 a.m. in my underwear and one of her dish towels. I start. Yeah, she says, too fast. I get up, joints crack, romantic. I set the mug in her sink like a guest who wants to be invited back. Thank you, she says quietly. Seriously. It's just trays, I say. It was not just trays. I cross back to my side through the dying rain. Stand in my kitchen, dripping, heart still loud. And I realize I'm grinning at nothing in the dark. Whatever line was left in that yard, I'm pretty sure it just washed away. 2 days after the tent disaster. I'm at my beds doing nothing important when there's a knock at my side door, low on the door, knee height. I open it, and it's Grace. She's holding an empty peanut butter jar with holes punched in the lid. "I need bugs," she announces. "Good morning to you, too." "It's for science. Mom won't help. She's scared of spiders." From somewhere inside their half, I hear Dana yell, "I am not scared. I have a healthy respect for them." Grace just stares at me. The jar wobbles. "School project," she clarifies. "I have to bring 6 bugs, different kinds." I look at the jar. I look at the kid. "Okay," I hear myself say, "get your sandals." So that's how I lose an afternoon. We go full safari. I flip over the big landscaping rock by the AC unit. Beneath it, a whole city of roly-polies, scattering. Grace loses her mind. "Get them! Get all of them!" "We only need a couple. They have lives, Grace." She does not care about their lives. We catch 2 pill bugs, a beetle that I'm fairly sure is just a beetle, and something fast I refuse to identify. I narrate the whole time like a nature documentary host. And here, in its natural habitat, the angry centipede. Is it gonna bite me? Only if you deserve it. She rates each bug out of 10. The beetle gets a 4. Harsh. Dana's out on the porch the whole time, coffee in hand, not helping, fully spectating. Every time I get down on my knees in the dirt to chase something, she laughs. "You're so serious about this," she calls. "It's a graded assignment, Dana. There are stakes." "He's right!" Grace yells, betraying her mother instantly. We get 6 bugs. I am weirdly proud. Grace holds the jar up to the light like a trophy. The fast thing has already eaten one of the pill bugs. We do not tell the teacher that. By the time we're done, I've got dirt under every fingernail and a sunburn on my neck. Dana leans on the porch rail. "You earned dinner," she says. "Hazard pay. It's frozen pizza. Don't get excited." I get a little excited anyway. We eat at her counter, the pizza slightly burnt at one edge, exactly how I do it. Grace narrates the bug hunt to her mom in extreme detail, including casualties. By 8, she's face down on the living room rug, dead asleep mid-sentence. Dana drapes a blanket over her without breaking stride. Then she pulls 2 beers from the back of the fridge. We end up on the couch, low lamp. Kids snoring softly on the floor. For a while, it's easy. Quiet. Good. Then Dana goes still around the 3rd sip. "Can I admit something embarrassing?" she says. "Always. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, none. With her. With the business." She picks at the label on the bottle. "I feel like I'm running a company out of a kitchen and parenting on guesswork and just faking competence until something breaks." "Something usually breaks," she adds. "See? Cake. See? Tent." I set my beer down. "Can I push back on that?" "You're gonna anyway. You moved cities with a 5-year-old and started a business from scratch. That's chaos, not skill. You rebuilt a 4-tier cake after it collapsed in front of you. You hauled your whole inventory through a storm at midnight and didn't lose a single tray." She opens her mouth. I keep going. "Your kid is happy. She's curious. She knocks on strangers' doors demanding science help. That's not a disaster. That's a kid who feels safe enough to be brave." Dana doesn't say anything. "You're not faking it," I tell her. "You're just doing it tired. There's a difference." The lamp hums. The kid snores. Dana's looking at me like I rearranged something in her chest. Her cheeks go pink. She glances away, then back. "You're really bad at letting me feel sorry for myself," she says quietly. "It's a gift." She laughs, but it's soft, and she doesn't fill the silence after it. Neither do I, and I think we both notice that I don't want to leave. Sunday morning, early, stupid early. My phone buzzes at 6 with a text from Dana. "My car won't start. Market's in 2 hours. I'm going to throw up." I'm already awake. Of course I am. I read it. Twice and type back, "Be there in 5. I cross to her side in a hoodie and yesterday's jeans. She's in the driveway glaring at her hatchback like it personally betrayed her. The engine clicks and does nothing. Dead as the tomato seedlings. "It's the alternator, or it's cursed," she says. "I don't know cars." "Neither do I, but I have an SUV." She blinks at me. "I can't ask you to—" "You didn't," I offered. "Different thing. Start loading." We become a 2-person freight company in the gray morning light. Folding tables. The tent's replacement, a sad rental pop-up. Crates of muffins, a cooler, a cash box she clutches like it's holy. Grace supervises from the porch in pajamas and rain boots, eating a scone. "You're doing it wrong," she informs us, helping no one. I get everything into the back of the SUV like a Tetris champion. Dana straps Grace into the booster seat. We drive across town. The market's already humming when we pull in. Vendors, dogs, that one guy selling honey who never stops smiling. We unload fast. I set up the tables while Dana arranges product. Then the crowd hits and it stops being calm. People 3 deep at her stall by 9. Dana's taking orders, slicing samples, talking pricing, all at once. I look at the cash box, I look at the line, I just step in. "I've got the register," I say. "You bake brain, I'll money brain." She doesn't argue. She just nods, relieved, and keeps moving. And then we click. She calls out totals. I make change. She wraps, I bag. She charms, I count. Someone wants 3 lemon bars and a scone. I have it bagged before they finish their sentence. "You two have done this before," a woman says. "We have not. We have done this never." Grace ends up on my shoulders eating a strawberry because she demanded altitude. She drips juice into my hair. I let it happen. It's somehow not the worst part of my day. An older man buys a whole pie, slow and careful with his wallet. He looks at the 3 of us, me, Grace on my shoulders, Dana laughing behind the table. "You've got a beautiful wife and daughter there," he says warmly. Just like that. Easy, like it's a fact. I open my mouth, I don't correct him. I look at Dana. Dana looks at me. She doesn't correct him either. "Thank you," she says, a little quiet, and hands him his change. The man wanders off with his pie, no idea what he just did. Grace from up top asks if she can have another strawberry. I say yes mostly so I have something to do with my face. We sell out by noon. Actually sell out. Empty crates. Dana counts the cash box twice and makes a small, disbelieving sound. "This is the best day I've had since I moved here," she says. We pack the empty tables back into the SUV. Grace passes out in her booster before we leave the parking lot. And then it's just the 2 of us in the front seats, driving back, and nobody's talking. Not the bad kind of quiet, the loud kind, the kind where you're hyper-aware of the other person's hands on their knees. The word wife is just sitting in the car with us, taking up a whole seat. I keep my eyes on the road. She keeps hers out the window. At a red light, I catch her almost smile in the reflection. She catches me catching it. We both look forward, fast, like teenagers. "Good market," I say, because I'm a genius with words. "Good market," she agrees. The light turns green. I drive us home. And that one word the pie guy said keeps echoing the whole way. Neither of us is brave enough to bring it up, but neither of us is rushing to forget it either. Wednesday. 3 days after the market. Dana texts me mid-morning. "Come over for dinner Thursday. A real one. No pastry. You've earned protein." I type back something cool and measured. I delete it. Send a thumbs up like a coward. Thursday rolls around. I shower. I put on a shirt with buttons. I stand in front of my mirror and feel ridiculous. It's 12 feet across a patio. I'm acting like it's a date. It is a date. I just won't say that to my own reflection. 6 o'clock, I knock on her sliding door. Nothing. I knock again. Then I notice the smoke. It's curling out the gap at the top of her door, thin and gray. The kind of smoke that means something used to be food. I let myself in. The whole place reeks of burnt char. The smoke alarm has clearly already been disabled. There's a chair under it, telling. And Dana is sitting on the kitchen floor, knees up, back against the cabinets, exactly where we sat during the storm. But she's not laughing this time. She's crying, quiet, furious, embarrassed crying. In the sink there's a roasting pan with something black in it. It might have been a pot roast. Now it's a crime scene. "Don't," she says, wiping her face fast. "Don't look at it. Hey, I wanted one thing to go right. One, a normal dinner. Dana. The car's still in the shop. It's $400. The roast is a brick, and I'm crying on the floor like a..." She gestures at herself. Words fail her. I don't argue with her on the floor. I go to work instead. I crack the windows. Both of them. Get a cross breeze going. I grab a dish towel and fan the lingering smoke toward the gap. I pull my phone out and order Thai from the place 2 streets over. "Pad see you, the dumplings. That mango thing for the kid," I say out loud, thumbing the order. 20 minutes. She watches me from the floor, sniffling. You didn't ask what I wanted. You want noodles. Everyone in crisis wants noodles. She lets out a wet laugh despite herself. I tackle the pan next. I run hot water over the brick and it hisses at me like it's not done fighting. I dump in dish soap and let it soak. That pan is a tomorrow problem. I'm not a magician. Then I crouch down in front of her. Listen to me. You don't have to put on a show for me. I burned dinner. You burned a roast. The internet burns roasts. Professionals burn roasts. It was supposed to be nice. It is nice. The company's good. The chef's a little weepy. 5 stars. She covers her face with both hands and groans, but she's smiling behind them. I can see it. I hold out a hand. She takes it. I pull her up off the floor. She wobbles, then steadies. Close enough that I notice she still has flour on her wrist. Always flour. It's like a permanent tattoo. The food shows up. I tip too much. I always tip too much. We eat on the couch out of the containers. Grace surfaces, eats 4 dumplings, declares them the best roast ever, and wanders off again. Neither of us corrects her either. We've made a habit of that. By the time the cartons are empty, the panic's gone out of the room. Dana's leaning into my side. I don't remember when that started. Thank you, she says quietly. For the floor thing. It's just noodles. It's not just noodles. She tilts her head up. Her fingers find mine on the cushion and tangle in. The lamp's low. The kid's room is quiet. We're both not pretending anymore. I lean in. She leans in. We're maybe an inch apart when a cough cracks the silence, a real one. From the next room, then another. Mom, Grace raspy. It smells weird in here. We jerk apart like we touch the stove. Dana exhales a laugh into her hand. It's the smoke, baby. Get some water. She looks back at me, flushed, breathless, an inch of distance feeling like a mile. To be continued, she whispers. And for once, I believe it. The next day I can't sit still. It's a normal Friday. Nothing's wrong, which is the problem. My side of the duplex is quiet the way I used to love. Counters clear, floor swept, spices in order. I stand in the middle of it like a stranger. It feels like a waiting room. No dinosaur shovel by the sink, because I returned it like a clown. I look at the spot where it used to live. I genuinely consider walking over to ask for it back. For the kid, obviously, not for me. I tend my beds. The Cherokee purples are recovering. New growth where the small destroyer once stomped. I pull 2 weeds I already pulled yesterday. I keep glancing at the divider like it owes me something. The whole day my brain replays one moment, an inch of distance, a cough from the next room. To be continued. I'm 26 years old and I'm pacing over a whisper. By evening, I'm done waiting for the screen door, done with the drive-through window routine, done leaning on a low wall like a delivery guy. So, I cross the patio, and instead of going to the divider, I go to her door. I knock, like a person, with intent. I hear shuffling inside, a pause. Then she slides it open. She's in a flour-dusted apron, hair up, looking braced, like she's expecting bad news she already wrote in her head. Hey, she says, too careful. About last night Don't. She blinks. I mean it. Don't do the apology spiral. I'm not spiraling, I'm a little spiraling. I step inside. I slide the glass shut behind me. That closing click feels louder than the storm did. She notices. Her eyes flick to the door, then back to me. Grace asleep? I ask. Out cold. The dumplings finished her off. Good. I take a breath that I planned and still don't fully trust. Here's the thing, I say. My side over there is clean, quiet, organized. It's everything I thought I wanted when you moved in. And I stood in it all day hating how empty it felt. She doesn't say anything. Her hands twist in the apron. I don't want the quiet anymore, I tell her. I want the chalk teeth on my driveway. I want the worm reports and the offcuts. I want the burnt roasts and the midnight tent disasters. All of it. You, her, the mess. Permanently, not as a treaty. The kitchen ticks. Somewhere the fridge hums. She lets out a breath that breaks halfway into a laugh, a shaky, relieved one. You practiced that, she says. In the shower, a little. It showed. Was it bad? It was perfect, you idiot. And then she doesn't wait either. She grabs a fistful of my shirt, flour and all, pulls me in. This time nobody coughs. This time nobody's racing for the door. It's slow, and it's real, and it tastes faintly of lemon. When we finally break apart, her forehead rests on mine. "There's flour on your shirt now," she murmurs. "Pretty sure that's the rent here." She laughs against my mouth. The divider in the yard is still standing out there in the dark, but the one that mattered is gone. And for the first time, my quiet side of the duplex doesn't feel like home. This one does. It's been a few weeks and I've basically stopped using my own front door. I have a side of the duplex, on paper. In reality, I live on hers now. My keys still open my place, but my place is mostly a storage unit at this point. Extra flour, backup sheet pans. My gardening tools lined up where nobody steps on them. I moved my good coffee maker over to her counter on day 3. Never moved it back. Mornings have a shape now. I'm up first. Always am. I start the coffee while it's still gray outside. Dana's already at the counter by then, half awake, working dough with her sleeves shoved up. She doesn't talk before her first cup. I learned that fast. I just set the mug next to her elbow and stay out of the flour zone. She grunts something that's either thank you or a threat. I take it as thank you. Then it's the Grace handoff. I do kindergarten drop-off most days now. Turns out the school's a 10-minute walk, and Grace likes the route because there's a dog behind one fence she has named Gerald. We stop at Gerald's fence every single morning. It's non-negotiable. "Gerald looks tired today," she'll report, very concerned. "Gerald's a senior citizen, Grace. Let him rest." Meanwhile, Dana takes her morning calls, catering inquiries, a coffee shop that wants a standing muffin order. She paces the kitchen with the phone pinned to her shoulder, hands never stopping. I come back from drop-off and she mouths, "We got the muffin account," while still talking. I give her a thumbs up. We're a functioning operation now. It's almost suspicious how easy it got. The big thing I built her, though, that was a weekend project. A real planter box. Elevated, so nobody can stomp it on the way to fight a dragon. I sank the legs, leveled it, filled it with actual soil instead of the cheap decoy stuff. Grace stood there supervising with her hands on her hips. "Is this mine?" "This is yours, the real one, with rules." The rules took some explaining. You put the seed in, you cover it, you don't dig it back up to check on it. "But how do I know it's working?" "You trust it. That's the whole job." She found this deeply unsatisfying, but agreed to try. We seeded carrots. I showed her how to space them. She immediately planted 4 in one hole, and we had a talk. Dana watched from the patio, arms crossed, grinning. "You realize I've lost her," she said. "She's yours now, full botany cult. We accept members of all ages. Don't recruit me." That night, we're out on the patio, the 3 of us. Grace is watering her dirt box with a tiny can, soaking the same spot over and over. "Not too much," I call. "I'm giving them a drink." "You're giving them a flood." She ignores me, floods them anyway. I let it go. The light's doing the low gold thing over the yard. Dana's leaning into my shoulder, feet tucked under her on the chair. And I just sort of catch myself. A few months ago, I paid extra rent for silence and a place to be alone with my plants. I built a fence in my head and called it peace. Now, there's a kid drowning carrots 12 feet away, and flour on my sleeve, and a woman half asleep against my arm. And my chest does something it didn't used to do. The quiet I wanted was just empty, wearing a nicer outfit. This is loud. It's a mess. Somebody's always touching my tools. And I would not give back a single second of it. "What?" Dana mumbles, feeling me staring. "Nothing. Your kid's a menace." "Our kid," she corrects, not opening her eyes. I sit with that one for a while. Grace looks up from her flood. "Are the carrots going to be ready tomorrow?" "No," I say. "The day after?" And I figure I've got a long time to teach her about patience. I'm starting to hope it's even longer than I think. 3 years. That's the gap between then and now. The duplex is gone. We bought a house, a real one, with a yard that doesn't have an invisible line down the middle. There's a greenhouse out back I designed myself. Dana's got a commercial kitchen on the ground floor, 2 ovens, racks that don't collapse in storms. She has employees now, 2 of them. They call her chef, and she still flinches at it. The carrots from that first dirt box were terrible, by the way. Stubby, forked, tasted like a punishment. Grace ate one raw out of pride and refused to admit it was bad. She's 8 now. 8 and weirdly competent in the garden. I'm out by the tomato beds when she finds me this morning. She's got the basket, the good one. She knows it's the good one. They're ready, she announces. The purple ones. Cherokee purples. Full circle. I don't say that out loud. She'd roll her eyes. She crouches at the bed and starts harvesting like a professional. Twist, not pull. Check the base. Set it in soft. 3 years ago, this kid flattened these same plants in under a second. Now she handles each tomato like it's an egg. Don't bruise them, she mutters to herself, in my exact voice. I pretend not to hear that. She fills the basket and holds it up to me with both hands. Inspect, she demands. I inspect. They're perfect, heavy and dark and warm from the sun. Acceptable, I tell her. They're perfect and you know it. She's right. I don't give her the satisfaction. I take the basket up toward the deck. Dana's up there in the shade, parked in the big chair we both fight over. She's 8 months along and not subtle about it. One hand on her belly, the other holding iced tea she's barely drinking. My ankles are 2 balloons, she informs me, before I'm even up the steps. You've mentioned. I'm mentioning again. They're worse than yesterday. Noted, put them up. They are up. This is up. I set the basket on the table beside her. She immediately reaches past all the good ones and steals a cherry tomato. Those are for the kitchen, I say. I'm carrying your second child. I get a tomato tax. I let it go. I let a lot of things go now. She pops it in her mouth and makes a small content noise. Grace thunders up the steps behind me, already on to the next mission. Something about whether the dog 2 houses down is also named Gerald. He is not. We've been over this. She lives in hope. I sit down next to Dana. The chair groans. We really do fight over it. Out in the yard, the greenhouse glass catches the light. The beds are heavy with fruit. The garden's a happy mess. Grace left a trowel in the grass and a hose running slow. 3 years ago, that would have ruined my whole week. Now, I just make a note to deal with it later. Dana leans her head onto my shoulder. What are you thinking about? She says. You've got the face. No face. You've got the face, the sappy one. I look out at all of it, the yard, the kid, the tomatoes she didn't murder. Just remembering, I say, that none of this happens if you'd kept your kid off my lawn. She snorts into my shoulder. You're never letting that go. It's the founding document. It goes in the history books. She steals another tomato out of the basket. I let her have that one too.